Good morning. I'm here at one of my favorite beaches, Olifantsbos, and I just came to get some fresh air and just enjoy some outdoor activity. But this is the stretch of coast that is very special for me when it comes to shorebirding. Not only is it a special coast for me for shorebirding, but on this very stretch of beach, one of my photographs was shortlisted on Bird Photographer of the Year. And I just come to reflect on that moment that happened. It's such a surreal moment to be shortlisted in one of the most prestigious competitions in birding and photography. And I am so excited to just be here again and just soak in the atmosphere and the moment where it all happened. So let me just tell you a little bit about that moment that happened right here on the stretch of beach. In fact, I can walk right up to the section of beach where I laid down with my ground pod and my camera gear and took the photograph of the Kittlitz Plover. And I was somewhere just about here. I was lying in this area and I remember there was lots of kelp on the beach and I didn't have the opportunity to be close to the water's edge because it was high tide, but there were Kittlitz plovers and white-fronted plovers on the beach at the time. And they were just advancing from one side of the beach to the other. And I decided to lay on this sand and I just decided to wait and intercept them as they moved along the rack line of the beach, right here where the kelp deposits are. And so I knew that I wasn't going to get classic shorebird shots with the water's edge in the image. I knew I wasn't going to get any of those kind of shots, and I had to make do with these large deposits of kelp at the time, and they became the composition of my shot. And so it was really cool to just allow nature to unfold and allow the plovers to be in their most natural behavior, or allow them to be in their most natural state, walking along the beach and doing their foot trembling and collecting, or should I say catching, amphipods for food. And just as about an hour and a half, one of the Kittlitz plovers were quite close to my position, and not more than 3.5 meters or 4 meters, and I managed to get the shot, and it was amazing. Think that the plover would come that close to my position, but it did. And so that was quite an amazing experience, and I didn't know that 2 years later it would be going through to the final round for Bird Photographer of the Year. I remember at the end of last year, I was hesitant to enter Bird Photographer of the Year, and I almost did not enter the competition simply because I felt like perhaps what I had as images to enter may not have been enough or wasn't good enough. And at the very last minute, on the last night, I uploaded and entered my photos into Bird Photographer of the Year. And I thought, well, if nothing comes from it, at least my money will be helping to support Birds on the Brink for conservation, and that would have been the positive outcome. So I didn't really expect or think that any of my photographs would end up progressing to the next level in the competition. I'm also glad that the image that was chosen is of one of our resident local birds, the Kittlitz Plover, and it's not a very famous bird, it's not a very sought after bird, but it is a special bird nonetheless, and it shows that every avian species carry significance and can be a special photo opportunity. What it actually teaches me is you don't actually need exotic birds to take great images. You can take great images what is in front of you. You can take great images with the species that you have available. And that's what I've done. And that has given me motivation to do it more, because now I don't have to travel all the time. I don't have to feel the pressure to travel and the pressure to be everywhere. I can use what I got and do the best with what I got, and I know that it can go far. And what I've learned is that you shouldn't charge your self-esteem or your value or your worth as a photographer to a competition or winning a competition or getting chosen, but you should use those kind of accolades and recognition as an indicator that you are on the right track and that you are supposed to be doing this. What I learned working in the point of sale retail agency environment, they call it intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. And when you are intrinsically motivated, it's motivation that comes from inside of you, and it's about motivation that you bring and your love for the game. And that's the most important, because getting accolades and recognition and achievements, those things are often short-lived. And a short-listed moment is short-lived, if I should put it that way. And it's important to make sure that you are always intrinsically motivated and that you do it because you love it. The reason why you get up early on a Saturday morning to come to the beach, to chase the good light and do photography, is because you love it more than the accolades. And the accolades are great. Extrinsic motivating factors are great. It's good to get achievements and accolades because it helps you. It's like a feather in your cap, or should I say, it gives you fuel to carry on and continue to do that which you love. And that it is just great. It just motivates us, but it's not necessarily the best motivating factor. It's more about you doing it because you love it. One thing I learned about now that I am a shortlisted photographer for Bird Photographer of the Year is that it is not easy to produce an image that can progress to making you a finalist. And with everyone having access to good cameras, some to exotic locations and ideal places to go to photograph wildlife and birds, it's getting harder to kind of stand out and be different. And how does one become different when everyone has access to a decent camera setup? Many have travel time capacity, and many have more resource, and it just feels like it's almost impossible to stand out. And yet one of my images was good enough to progress to the shortlisted round, or the final round of judging. And so it's really important to know that it's not easy to produce an award-winning image. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and we all have preferences, and we all everyone has a different definition of what art is and what looks good and what is good. But at the end of the day, if I think about Bird Photographer of the Year, I sympathize with the judges having to make a decision to separate the exceptional from the unforgettable, because everyone, as I said before, everyone has a fairly decent camera these days and access to locations to be able to pull off a good photograph. And I wouldn't want to be the one to make the decision, do I choose this one or that one? So obviously, as we are all creatures of preference, there will be some subjectivity in any competition. Doesn't matter how rigorous the rules and the criteria is and the standard is, there will always be something on a human level that sways you to make a decision between two photographs. And that's okay. The question is, will I enter Bird Photographer of the Year again? Absolutely, because now I know that I can achieve images that can compete in that competition. Why not? I will try again. Congrats to all those who have been contacted and have made it through to the book. Congratulations. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.